Have you ever seen a logo so clean, so timeless, it feels like it's always been there? Chances are, these guys made it. I'm talking about Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv, the minds behind Chase, NBC, and even PBS. We're not just talking about good logos here, we're talking about the foundation of modern branding. These are the designers who shape the way we see brand identity design today. And yet, for all of that influence, for the visual language they've built, the rules that they wrote, the legacy they left, they don't get the spotlight. But they might just be the most crucial design studio of all time. Today, we're looking at the history of Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv. We're gonna take a look at some of their most iconic work, and we're gonna answer the question, why do they matter? But before we get into it, I'm Ziggy the Designer. I'm a graphic designer who's worked alongside some of the world's most recognizable brands, including United Airlines, Target, and Stanford University. If you like the conversations we're having on this show, be sure to support the channel by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment down below, and of course, by subscribing. Let's get into it. Design is all around us, so we might as well talk about it. Ivan Chermayeff and Tom Geismar. Two names that deserve to be said in the same breath as Saul Bass, Paul Rand, and Massimo Vignelli. Imagine this. It's the 1950s and 60s. Corporate America is booming, right? Companies are realizing that logos aren't decorations. They're signatures. They need symbols that say, you can trust us. You can trust our company. And these two, they're creating marks that still define logo design to this day. They gave Chase Bank that blue octagon, Mobil the red O, PBS the abstract human head, NBC the iconic peacock that we all know and love. Decades before brand guidelines were even a thing, they were creating visual languages that could live anywhere, in print, on TV, in motion, and even in memory. They're simple, clear style of design, it made having a great logo the flex that it is today. And that mindset, that restraint in design, that became their secret weapon. While everyone else was trying to be clever and ornate, they were trying to design identities that spoke clearly. And clarity always wins. Then enters Sagi Haviv. Under his leadership, the firm becomes Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv, a new chapter with the same DNA. A young designer stepping into a firm that already defined the modern logo, that's not an easy room to walk into. But instead of being crushed by history, Haviv added to it. And what's wild is that he didn't modernize the firm by chasing trends, right? He modernized it by doubling down on what made it already timeless. And that is disciplined design. I mean, he made restraint cool again. He made simplicity feel like radical design. In a world that is addicted to noise, that is a bold move. So why do they still matter in 2025? Because the design world has become a circus. I mean, let's not lie, right? Every rebrand has motion. Every logo is trying to tell a super deep story. I mean, we're all trying to out-clever each other here. But look at what Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv have built, and tell me it still doesn't hold up. Their work still commands attention. Their logos have staying power that is unmatched by anyone in the game. These logos, or at least the foundations of them, are still going strong today. And that's what true timelessness really is. They mattered because they gave corporate America its first visual language. They mattered because they showed the world that a logo could be more than a mark. It could be an entire identity. And here's the thing. Every single rebrand that you see today, whether it's minimalist, maximalist, brutalist, or nostalgic, it's all living in the shadow of Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv. Let's look at it like this, right? If Pentagram is the 90s Chicago Bulls of design, Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv are the 60s Boston Celtics. Their playbook is still being studied. Their rules are still being followed. And somehow, some way, they still don't get their flowers. That's the wild part, because they defined modern branding, and most people don't even realize it. So what do we as designers take from their story? Well, here's what we can learn. We can learn that taste beats trend, that clarity outlasts clever, that maybe the loudest voice in the room isn't the one that always wins, right? The voice that wins is the one that lasts, because the best design doesn't always beg for attention. The best design earns your trust. That's the legacy of Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv. Not just logos that last, but design lessons that never expire. But how do you feel about Chermayeff and Geismar and Haviv? Are they criminally underrated, or do they get the credit that they deserve? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's all I have for you. Be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, subscribing, and of course by sharing this one out. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's that 1, I love design, and 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.